Welcome back to healthcare, bridging healthcare gaps. So today I'm very happy to be joined by Norrie, and he's the CEO of the company called CodeBaby. And Norrie, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Tyler. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. You have very interesting company. So first of all, for the listeners, they never heard about your company. Let us know, what do you do?
CodeBaby builds conversational AI avatars, and we use them in healthcare applications along with education and some other verticals. And these are real-time avatars that you are able to have a conversation with. And they can be a companion, they can be informative, they can do a lot of different things. And our company's philosophy is to augment human capabilities with these avatars, not to replace them. So most of our applications have a human in the loop. So,
Cool, cool. We'll definitely talk more about that. But before that, I think you have very interesting background as well. Tell the listeners about your background and how you set up this company.
um, so I was born in Bombay, India, and I moved to go to school here at the University of Michigan. And I started as an engineer, then went into law, and then technology banking. And then at some point in my life, I decided that maybe we can have the computer do a lot more things than what we had asked it to do, which was uh, can we do interviews? Can we do conversation with computers that could help us? So I started the journey with avatars, and that was in 2012. So I've been doing it for 14 years. And people used to laugh at me when I first started this because uh, you could only see this type of technology in the movies. It really wasn't out there available. But over time, the movies became reality, and it's interesting how much progress we've made in the last 3 or 4 years. So,
Okay, cool, cool. So list digital humans, right? It's avatar.
yes,
So I think you just mentioned about your company in different industry, including healthcare. You also do
right,
other e-commerce, customer service, etc.
right,
But
right.
today, I think we'll just focus more on the healthcare industry. Okay, so in healthcare, uh, what do you see the demand right now using CodeBaby, the avatar? Is that the like patient education or the communication with patients or any other, or even the remote monitoring care?
In my opinion, the highest and best value is in remote monitoring. So, when you think about a medical provider having access to information about their patient, uh, it's very little because it's only what the patient tells them or it's what the patient experiences when they are visiting the doctor. A lot of what takes place outside of that is equally important for the patient's health. So, remote monitoring, particularly in the case of chronic disease management, is really a very key aspect of what we strive to do. So, if you're able to have a virtual character who can talk to a patient, collect biometric information, vitals, and make that available to a medical provider on a regular basis, you get to chat. You see the trends, you see um, long-term effects of medication, you see an awful lot of things that uh, just with an episode you are not able to collect. So that's one aspect of healthcare that I think our technology can help. The other one is in providing efficiency and productivity for medical providers themselves. So there's a considerable amount of time and effort spent in collecting information from a patient when they come to visit. So there are pre-visit forms, there are conversations that you have with your doctor when you actually are sitting in front of them. And we've built out a triage nurse that we have deployed in Central America, where people are able to talk to the character and actually provide the type of triage information that would normally be given to a doctor in person. So this information is then made available to the doctor after collection, and it can be integrated into an electronic health record. And it allows the doctor to focus on the patient as opposed to trying to enter notes or, figuring out uh, the questions, the triage questions to ask. So it's kind of interesting because the AI is used to create the conversation based on what the patient is saying. But the diagnosis and the treatment plan is still the medical provider. It just gives the provider hints about what might be the direction of the diagnosis. So,
Okay, that's very interesting. I want to dig into more, especially you talk about the remote monitoring, right?
mhm, right.
As far as I know, with my background, I use a lot of the work with the clinics on different medical device connectivity before. So when you are talking about remote monitoring use case, you how the patient still need to do measure their vital sign, right? The your avatar, this avatar talk to patient, say, hey, have you measured your blood pressure today? And then just ask the patient do the measurement right away and tell them the okay, my blood pressure is 120 over 80, and then record the data, put in the
No.
how, yeah, how does
So,
that work?
so all devices available today to measure any of these vitals have Bluetooth capability or connectivity capability.
Okay.
So, what you don't want is the patient reading the results and giving it to the avatar. That's a point of failure in healthcare. The patient may read them wrong, may intentionally misread them. You don't know the validity of that data. So the data comes directly from the device. So if you put on um, you know, device on your finger and it gives you the oxygen level and your pulse, that is automatically made available to the avatar and is fed into the uh, health record. So you want to eliminate as much friction and as much points of error as possible. So, today you can get weight scales that can give you that. You have pulse oximeters, you have blood pressure monitors, you have glucose monitors. All of these can provide data directly to the computer.
Okay, so you're saying those connectivity already exist.
Yes,
You just train your avatar know, okay, that's
right,
already been set up and just talk to patient and they measure the vital sign and just upload automatically.
correct. So we have been doing this since 2014, where you could pick up information from a Bluetooth device, medical grade uh, Bluetooth devices. And, we've been able to capture that and have the avatar respond based on the numbers uh, for a long time. So that technology is in existence. Yes.
Right, right. Okay. Before I go further, this quick question. So I know your avatar you are using right now is HIPAA compliant, right?
Yes. Yes.
But does it require any kind of FDA approval on using this in the clinical setting?
It is not a medical device. It's a
Okay.
conversational engine which collects information and communicates that either to the electronic health record or to, in its most rudimentary form, we have situations where it just prints it out and the patient, has that and walks in to see the doctor. So,
Okay. Okay.
uh, so it can be any different mechanism. So the process itself is really dependent on what exists today between the patient and the clinical setting, and sometimes you can improve the process or expand it greatly, but that's a choice for the clinician. So
Okay. Good. So let's talk about other aspects the CodeBaby avatar can do. I read your website and I know there's much more they can do, like 24/7 supports, multilingual, and things like that. Can you talk
mhm.
about more about other aspect the CodeBaby can do?
Sure. So we now have about 200 languages that our avatars are able to understand and speak in. And that includes many dialects. So it's not just 200 languages, but it can be English in three or four or five different accents and dialects. So it's meant to be engaging. It's meant to connect with the patient, and so we have a lot of flexibility in both the design of the avatar, what it looks like, as well as what it sounds like. And it communicates through voice as well as through text. So you can speak to it, you can type your text information. It will repeat what you said, in terms of the text, so that it understood exactly what you're talking about. And it's able to communicate via voice. So,
Okay, good.
yeah.
Can you give us like very specific use case example you have done already with a clinic so that what do you do for them using this
Sure.
avatar and what kind of outcomes you are seeing?
Yes, so we have a client in the Dominican Republic, Haiti area, where the clinic has an affiliation with a major medical university in the US. And there are three full time physicians there. Uh, those physicians handle a population of about 160,000 people. So it's a very difficult situation to actually triage and provide care, particularly primary care in that regard. So most of their population is also in the rural areas. So having somebody come in to see the doctor at the clinic is a significant effort for the patient. So what we did was we created um, we worked with the doctors to identify what are the primary areas of concern in terms of diseases. So insect-borne and waterborne diseases are the primary diagnoses that they see in that area. So we used a large language model and an avatar to build out a triage process, just like a nurse or anybody else would do in the clinic. And it goes through, it talks about pre-existing conditions, new symptoms, duration of the new symptoms, the severity, what have you done about it? So it goes through, collects all of that information, and at this point, it is only communicated on paper via fax to the clinic because they don't have any other. They don't have an electronic medical record at that clinic. So, but it helps the physician to get this ahead of time, to see this, and to be then communicate back to the patient uh, and say, you either have to come in or I'd like you to schedule a test, or this is the medication. I'll call the prescription in locally to you so the pharmacist can provide it. So it is providing some relief for patients to be able to actually have access to healthcare, to not have to commute uh, many hours. And for the physicians, it's allowing them to help a lot more people than they used to. So now we've been doing this for about a year. Um, the feedback is positive, but hard numbers are difficult in that type of an environment because when you're got that much work, it's very hard to keep track of you know data to provide to us. But we know that we've had several hundred cases that have gone through this process now. So
Okay, good, good. And I know a lot of like chatbots and this kind of AI assistants in healthcare right now. So, what do you see CodeBaby differentiate from this kind of some is very traditional chatbot
right.
and this kind of AI system? What do you see you guys do better than others?
I think the large language models have allowed chatbots to become smarter than they used to be. Uh, for us, the back end of what we've created is the differentiator. So number one, we have patented technology that is able to um, provide responses extremely fast, so that it's actually a conversation. The technology that we chose is not pixel streaming or um, it doesn't come from the server, so it's much less expensive, and it takes place where the rendering is done directly on the client machine. So there are opportunities where even if there isn't great connectivity, you can still use our product. So we stay away from ultra realistic humans. We stay away from anything that creates a fairly significant payload, and that allows us to take care of communities that maybe others can't. So,
Okay. Let me talk about the ethics point of view. Okay, I know right now, not in healthcare. This chatbot, this AI chatbot in general,
hmm
GPT,
hmm
right? A lot of times when you ask questions and they will give you good information, but from time to time, if they don't know, they still give you like answers. Sounds like okay, that's like very real, right? But a lot of times it's nonsense, the answer they give to you. So in
right,
healthcare, I think that's very critical. We cannot get 1% of that junk answer data, right? So
right,
when
right.
that if that ever happened, I think I don't know if that ever happened, but if that happened, how do you train this avatar don't give inaccurate information, things like that, so that maybe we'll say, okay, transfer to a real person, things like that. How do you handle that?
So one of the first things that we had to solve for when generative AI came out was exactly that. Our avatars and our version of the large language models will tell you, I don't know. And that was the most difficult thing to overcome. So I won't go into the technology of how we do it, but um, we don't have, we took that very seriously because obviously, having it make up stuff, whether it's healthcare, education, or any application, it's a very significant problem. So our avatars will tell you, "I don't know. Would you like me to go find an answer?" So,
Okay,
uh,
so
and and that's something we can demonstrate and repeat. So
I see. Okay, do you like transfer to real person, or you just say the avatar just say, I don't know, we'll get back to you?
it it depended on the client. So the applications that we have in Central America, they don't have the capacity to be able to transfer it to a person in real time. So what happens is the information is given to somebody who can answer it, and then that person gets back and gets hold of the patient or user. So
Okay. All right. Good.
now, in the US, if you were using this in a call center or customer service, yes, you could immediately do a real time connection. You can do SMS, you can do a phone call, you can communicate directly in real time to a person who can answer that question.
Okay. Good. So for listeners who are doctors in their own clinic or even in the hospital, if they say that sounds interesting, I want to implement this avatar, this digital humans for my clinic, how do they go about doing that with you?
Well, since I'm on your podcast and they can directly contact me, I'd be happy to talk to them. They can email me. But generally, we have people who go go to our website and say, fill out the information on the contact us form, and we get hold of them within 24 hours and discuss, what is their application, what's their need. So,
Okay, yeah, that's the process I like the listener know more about. So if they go on your website, they fill the application, right? Let you know what they have in mind to do with this avatar, and
mhm,
you guys will just talk to them and talk
right,
about their details, what's their requirements. Is that
right.
how that works?
Right. So I actually personally respond, particularly if it's healthcare. I have a personal interest in healthcare. So I would be the one responding, but obviously, many of the requests, other people do respond. We do get requests from around the world. So, in particularly from England, the United Kingdom.
Okay.
So, it's interesting because uh, different cultures and different parts of the world have um, different feeling about talking to virtual characters, right? Some are more comfortable than others. Some are more comfortable with utilizing AI. So you have to be sensitive to that, and you have to really find out what are the limits that the person is willing to innovate and then bring it along slowly. So it's more important to start with something that you feel comfortable with, that you are able to show the value and then expand. So many of our clients, uh, we start with one project and then a year later, we're now doing five. So
Okay. For private clinic, let's say they want to implement this, any what kind of price range they can expect if they want to implement this?
usually, our these type of projects run between $12,000 and $15,000 in terms of the setup and creation of the actual experience, and it's about $200 a month after that for the communication that takes place between the avatar and patients. So, uh, if you're looking at it as your first year uh, cost, it's 15,000 or less. So,
Wow. So okay, the one time setup cost is you said between 12 to 15,000, but the
mhm.
monthly charge you said only $200 roughly.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So our goal was, particularly underserved communities, whether it's in the U.S. or overseas, um, they don't get the benefit of the latest innovation. They don't get the benefit of somebody paying attention to their needs. And part of our mission, part of our culture of our company is that's the population we want to take care of. So,
Okay. I want to follow up. I forgot to ask a question. You just mentioned international, you talked about UK, etc. So those multilingual features, right? Is
mhm.
that the avatar will detect what the patient speak, they can respond with that language, or that's preset in that language?
We have both. So it depends on which technology the client wants us to use. Um, we have situations where if the avatar is in a public place, for example, um, then it has auto detect and it'll pick up that you're speaking Portuguese. The next person was speaking Spanish, and it'll auto detect and it'll respond. Some, particularly if you know that most of the people who are going to be in a clinical setting are going to speak Dominican Republic Spanish or Haitian, uh, then you can fine tune and have that language there as your primary language. And then somebody can say, I don't speak that. And then the avatar will say, okay, what do you speak?
Wow, that's very cool. The auto detect that
Yeah.
that's very cool. Oh, do they can auto detect the accent like for UK accent and US
Um,
accent different?
no, not really, but
Uh,
it will detect that it is proper English. But then, the question is, you can have a Scottish accent, you can have an English accent, you can
right.
have, you know, which is different than Australian or Canadian. So
Yeah.
it'll pick up, a more broad stroke. So
Okay. Very
it's not going
cool.
to tell you, you grew up in Liverpool. I know how they speak there. So,
That would be
so
amazing, right? That would
I know.
surprise the
I'm sure
patient.
someday it'll happen. So,
Well, yeah, I think if we as human we can tell the accent, maybe the AI should be able to
right,
as
right.
well.
It's just not programmed right now. I mean, when we started this journey, we had only English. We had no other language available to us. And we used natural language processing, and we had to have kind of a decision tree that said, if you say yes to this or no to this, what is the next question? And you had to build all of that out. You get generative AI, and that changed everything. And now, you know, uh, I think every 3 months, Tyler, we have new technology we use. So,
Right, especially for AI, right?
right,
Advanced like
right,
daily.
right,
Every day you see new
right,
tool, new features. That's crazy.
right, right.
All right, cool. Last question I have for you, Nori, is about
Hmm.
your company. So where what phase your company is at right now, and what do you see your company do in like say 3 years,
Hmm.
and in order to get there, what kind of barrier or challenge you see right now you need to overcome in order to get there.
Well, we're a small privately funded company, so we don't have any venture capital money. We are bootstrapped. So the amount of opportunity to spend money on marketing and so on is fairly limited. We are lucky that we have large clients that found us, did their own research and found us. But in each case, they came to us after they had worked with somebody else, and that other company wasn't able to do what they wanted. And then somebody said, well, try this little company, and we were able to do what they wanted. So we stay at the cutting edge of what's possible with technology. And so I think getting our name out there, which is what you're doing here with this podcast, is something that is really helpful for us. And then eventually, much of what we're doing in healthcare in uh, Central America, and we want to do some in Africa next, gets funded by charitable dollars. So we have a couple of charities that actually fund the development of this type of technology for these countries. And without that, we would not have been able to do it on our own. We know how to do it. It just takes people and time, right? So
Yeah.
uh, that's another form of revenue for us that comes from people donating money to organizations that then pay us to build this out for them. So.
So sounds like your technology, your products, the development phase is done, right? You have
Hmm.
good product, you think,
Right.
and now just the awareness, the brand awareness.
Yes.
Like you say,
Yes.
you have limited money on the marketing, so
Right.
that the you trying to find different way to make yourself the brand
Right. Right.
let people know. That's the
Right.
biggest barrier right now.
Right. And for a lot of our clients that we do work for, they use the product internally. So it's very hard when somebody says, "Well, can you send me a website where I can talk to that avatar and do something with it?" Well, uh, unless you're a patient of this particular, there isn't a consumer facing application here, right? This is all business to business. So, yeah, unless you're a patient, unless you are, um, a student in a school that is a client of ours, there isn't any way for me to have you access that uh, avatar. As you know, for privacy reasons, for security and all of that, it's not available. So what we're doing now is we're doing videos of us using that product to show people what it's capable of. So,
So follow up on that. Do you focus more on certain industry right now for your company?
yes, so education and healthcare are two, and then one that is very promising for us is I call it entertainment, but we work with, for example, Coca-Cola when they do trade shows, and they have a Generation Z character that talks to people at the trade show. That's our character. Um, so museums, zoos, we have a character that can be a docent. Somebody comes to a venue and it can be a docent for them and tell them, as they're going through the zoo, different parts of, what's going on in the zoo. It can be a wayfinder. We're working with a major airport, which is also the site of a World Cup. And so people can go there to the avatar. They can say, listen, I need some vegan food, or tell me, where I can get sushi, and it generates a QR code, and then you just copy the QR code and you take it on your phone, and it'll give you step-by-step direction to where you want it to go. So it also knows that if you're outside or inside security. If you're outside security, it'll say, no, you can't go to that one, but you can go to this one.
Mhm.
It knows geo fences and knows where you are. So
Okay.
it's a lot of
Well, now,
interesting applications. So
yeah, now you mentioned that. I think I see some of those already. Maybe
yeah,
that's done by CodeBaby. People
yeah,
just don't know, right?
right, right.
Okay, I see. All right.
So
Any last words you want to say?
no, I'm greatly appreciative of you, Tyler, to give the opportunity to talk. And, hopefully people who listen to your podcast will, explore this further with us. So,
Sounds good. Thanks for your time, Nori.
okay.
All
So,
right. For people you are listen this podcast, this episode, if you have any question or comments, feel free to leave your comments below this video. And anything you want to reach out to Nori, definitely, like he just mentioned, he will get back to you personally, especially in healthcare channels. Nori, thanks again for your time. I hope the
my
best for your
pleasure.
company.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Okay. Bye.